Good morning, dear students. So today let me start unit number 2, summarization of data. In the previous unit we have studied about data, types of data, data collection, different methods of data collection and data cleaning. So in this video let us learn unit number 2, summarization of data. So let us start the video. First, descriptive statistics. So in statistics there are two types. One is descriptive statistics and the other one is inferential statistics. So let us learn what is descriptive statistics in this video. So descriptive statistics means it is the name given to the analysis of data that helps describe or summarize data in a meaningful way. Descriptive statistics is name given to the analysis of data that helps describe or summarize data in a meaningful way. Meaning of this is descriptive statistics is a data analysis method. This method helps us describing or summarizing data in a meaningful way. See, whenever you collect information or whenever you collect data by using any data collection method, that data is called as raw data because it has got useful information as well as useless information. And also that data is not in organized form. If there are useless information, you can delete them using data cleaning method. Then you need to organize that particular data, because if the data is in unorganized form, meaningful inferences cannot be drawn from that particular data. Unorganized formally ಇದ್ರೆ, unorganized form ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋದು, ರ್ಯಾಂಡಮ್ ಆಗಿ ಹಾಫ್ ಆಗಿರೋದು. ಸೊ ಅನ್ಆರ್ಗನೈಸ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಲಿ ಡೇಟಾ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಅದರಿಂದ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ಫುಲ್ ಇನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ದ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಅ ಕನ್ಕ್ಲೂಷನ್. ಇನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ತೀರ್ಮಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುವುದು. ಸೊ ಆ ಡೇಟಾ ಸೆಟ್ಟಿಂದ ಯಾವುದೇ ತೀರ್ಮಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ ಅನ್ಆರ್ಗನೈಸ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್. So in order to draw inference, you need to organize that particular data. So let me give you one example. Say there are 22 students in a class and a survey is conducted to know favorite subject of each and every student. And result of that survey is as listed below. See, first student said art is the favorite subject. Second student said mathematics. Third student said science. So similarly, each and every students selected their favorite subjects. See, this data is not in organized form. ಇದು ಯಾವುದೇ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. See, if I ask you a question from this data, say which is the most likely subject, then it is not easy to answer this question immediately. So you need to count to answer that particular question. So meaningful inferences cannot be drawn from this particular data set. You need to organize it. So how to organize this? See, this is the same data set. So you can organize this particular data set using this type of table. You can see in the table, first column is subject, where all the 4 subjects have been listed, and the second column is tally marks, and the third one is number of students. So now you have to complete this particular table. Complete in the sense, you need to mark each and every data collected under tally marks column. See, in the data set, the first data is art. Art is the first data. So you need to mark under tally marks column under the subject art. See, this is the subject art. So under this subject art, you need to make a mark like this. Then second data, mathematics, you need to mark mathematics also. So mathematics is here, mathematics. So here you have to make a mark. Similarly for science, subject science, science is here. You make a mark for science here. Then English, next data in the data set. English is here. So make a mark for English like this. The next data is mathematics. So make a second marks for mathematics like this. And the next is art. Make a second marks for subject art like this. The next is English. English is here, make a mark. Then mathematics, next one. Mathematics is here, make a mark. Then next data in the data set is English. Make a third mark for English under the English subject in the tally marks column. The next subject or next data is art. Make a mark like this. The next is science. Make a mark like this. Next is art once again. So make a mark like this in tally marks column. The next is science. Science is here. And next once again science. Make a mark in the tally marks column. Then mathematics. Mathematics. Then art. Art is here. So now this mark you make cross mark like this. So that now this is a bunch of 5 marks. Okay. Fifth mark you have to make cross mark. Then English. English is here. This is fourth mark. Then once again art. This is first mark in the next bunch. Then science. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ 5ನೇ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಇದು. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನು ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಈ ರೀತಿ. Then mathematics. Mathematics 5th mark. So make cross mark. Then science. Science first mark in the next bunch. Next art. Second mark in the next bunch. So all the data have been marked in the tally marks column. Now you need to count these marks. How many marks you have made for each subject in a tally marks column, that you have to count and you have to write in the last column, number of students column. So for the subject art, there are 5 plus 2. These are 5 marks, bunch of 5 marks. Then 2, 5 plus 2, 7 marks. So write 7 here. Then for mathematics subject, 5 marks, write 5 here. Then for science subject, 5 plus 1, 6 marks, write 6 here. Then for English subject, 4 marks, write 4 here. So in this way, you write counts in the last column. So now the table is complete. Now this table is called as frequency distribution table. This table is in organized form. ಇದೊಂದು ಆರ್ಗನೈಸ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಇವಾಗ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಈ ಟೇಬಲನ್ನು ಏನಂತಾರೆ, ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಮೂವ್ ಆನ್ ಟು ದಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್. So this is the same frequency distribution table. So frequency distribution table, frequency means the frequency gives the number of times that a particular entry occurs. Frequency gives number of times that a particular entry occurs. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಡೇಟಾ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಾರಿ ಇದೆ ಡೇಟಾ ಸೆಟ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ. For example, say subject art. Its frequency is 7 because the subject art is entered 7 times in the data set. In other words, 7 students liked the subject art. So that 7 is frequency of subject art. Similarly, frequency of the subject mathematics is 5 and frequency of subject science is 6 and frequency of English is 4. See, this table is now in organized form. See, now if I ask you the same question, which subject is liked by most students? Which subject is liked by most students? If I ask you this question, you can easily tell. Subject art is liked by most number of students because 7 students liked that particular subject. And frequency 7 is highest in the frequency distribution table. And also, which is the least liked subject? Least liked subject is English because it is liked only by 4 students. So in this manner, you can draw meaningful inferences from the frequency distribution table. So this is the advantage of frequency distribution table. It is in organized form, so meaningful inferences can be easily drawn. Okay, let me move on to next topic. Next topic is grouping data. Grouping data. See, in the example just now I have taken, there are less number of data. Sometimes we need to deal with more number of data. In practice, there will be large number of data. In that case, how to draw a frequency distribution table? Let us see that. So let me take one example. Consider the following marks out of 50 obtained in mathematics by 60 students. So these are the marks scored by 60 students in mathematics subject. You can see total number of data is now 60. In the previous example, number of data were only 22. In this example, total number of data is 60. See, if you draw a frequency distribution table, just like previous example, then table would be very long. So in order to avoid that, we need to group the data. In the frequency distribution table, instead of writing each and every data, we need to write the groups like this. This is the frequency distribution table for the given example. You can see in the first column there are groups. How many groups are there? 6 groups are there. First group is 0 to 10. Second group is 10 to 20. Similarly, last group is 50 to 60. What are these groups? These groups are groups of marks. 0 to 10 means 0 marks to 10 marks. 10 to 20 means 10 marks to 20 marks. So here, instead of writing all the marks, groups of marks have been written in the first column. Remaining things are similar to previous example. So now this table is completed. Already it is completed. Tally marks column has been completed and also frequencies have been written. Let us see how to mark under tally marks column. See, in the data set, first data is 21. 21 belongs to which group? It belongs to the group 20 to 30. So what you have to do is, you have to make a mark in tally marks column under the group 20 to 30. Here you have to make a mark. So that mark has been made already. Okay. Then next data is 10. It belongs to which group? In fact, it belongs to two groups. One is 0 to 10 and the other one is 10 to 20. You can see 10 is there in both the groups. So it is common. It is common to both the groups. So where to mark now this data 10? See, for this you need to follow one convention. That is, common data should belong to higher group. Common data ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? higher group ಗೆ ಸೇರಿಸಬೇಕು. ಅಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ data 10 ಇದನ್ನ higher group. Higher group ಯಾವುದು? Which is higher group now? Group 10 to 20 is higher group. 0 to 10 is lower group. You need to include the data 10 in the higher group, that is 10 to 20. That is, you have to make a mark in the tally marks column in the group 10 to 20, not in the group 0 to 10. Similarly, next data is also 30. 30 actually it belongs to two groups, 20 to 30 and 30 to 40. So now where to mark? You need to mark in the higher group, that is 30 to 40. You need to make a mark in the tally marks column under the group 30 to 40. Next data in the data set is 22. 22, once again it belongs to the group 20 to 30. 20 to 30 ಆ ಗ್ರೂಪಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅದು. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಮಾರ್ಕನ್ನು ನೀವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ in the group 20 to 30. So likewise, you have to mark all the data in the data set under tally marks column. ಎಲ್ಲ ಡೇಟಾವನ್ನು tally marks column ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು ಈ ರೀತಿ. Then you need to write frequencies. Frequencies ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಟ್ಯಾಲಿ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಕೌಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಕಾಲಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆಯಬೇಕು. So in the first group 0 to 10, how many marks are there? There are 2 marks. So you need to write 2 in the frequency column. Similarly, in the next group 10 to 20, how many marks are there? 5 plus 5, 10 marks are there. So write 10 in the frequency column. Likewise, you have to count and write all the frequencies in the frequency column. So if you add up all these frequencies, it should be equal to 60 because there are 60 students. Then you may ask, why the groups are only up to 50 to 60? 50 to 60 ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಯಾಕೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ? Because you can see maximum marks is 50. 50 is the maximum marks. A student can score a maximum up to 50 marks. See, one student has scored 50 marks. So ಆ 50 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸು ಯಾವ ಗ್ರೂಪಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? ಗ್ರೂಪ್ 50 to 60 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So there is 1 mark in the tally marks column. Okay. So this table is called as frequency distribution table. So from this frequency distribution table, we can define several terms like class interval and width or size of class interval. See, class interval means each group in frequency distribution table. Each group is called as class interval. 0 to 10 is one class interval. 10 to 20 is the other class interval. So there are 6 class intervals in this frequency distribution table. See, in any class interval, say for example class interval 10 to 20, 10 is called as lower limit and 20 is called as upper limit. This 10 is called as lower limit, 20 is called as upper limit. Similarly, say in the group 40 to 50, 40 is called as lower limit and 50 is called as upper limit. Okay. Then width or size of class interval. Width of class interval or size of class interval means it is the difference between upper class limit and lower class limit. ಯಾವುದೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲಲ್ಲಿ ಅಪ್ಪರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಲಿಮಿಟ್ ಮತ್ತು ಲೋವರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಲಿಮಿಟ್ ಅವೆರಡರ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸನ್ನು ವಿಡ್ತ್ ಆರ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. See, for example, last group 50 to 60. Upper limit is 60, lower limit is 50. 60 minus 50 is 10. So class width is 10. You can notice each and every group, in each and every group, class width is 10 only. So in a frequency distribution table, class width should remain same for each and every group. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Okay. And also from this frequency distribution table, you can draw any meaningful inferences. See, if I ask you a question, how many students scored in the range 30 to 40? You can immediately answer 19 students. 19, you can see 19 students scored in the range 30 marks to 40 marks. Okay. And also you can say most number of students scored in the range 20 to 30. There are 21 students who scored in the range 20 to 30. 21 is maximum frequency it is. So most number of students scored in the range 20 to 30. So likewise, any other meaningful inferences can be made from the frequency distribution table. Okay, so this is about frequency distribution table. In the next video, let me explain you about relative frequency distribution table.